Years ago, one of YouTube's biggest scandals happened when Tana Mongeau was called out by IDubbbz in an episode of Content Cop that almost destroyed her career as a storytime YouTuber at the time. A few weeks ago, IDubbbz posted an apology video and apologized for everything he has done to harm anybody, including Tana Mongeau. And this week, Tana responded on her podcast and even teased a potential sit-down conversation with IDubbbz on her podcast. The two recently spoke privately following the public apology. So I want to revisit the initial cancellation, touch on IDubbbz's apology video, and talk about Tana's response. Hello, it's me. This is Paint and Sip, where we draw and talk about the internet and pop culture. I invite anybody to make art along with me while we chat and hang out, and if you want to send me what you made, you can send it to me on Instagram or Twitter at PaintandSipYT, and I would love to reshare it or retweet it. And finally, before getting started, I would like to thank Literal E, Yuki Alert, Fabian, and Teal for supporting my $5 tier on Patreon. As always, Patreon and everything is linked in the description. And with that, I am ready to get started if you are. In 2015 through 2017, Tana Mongeau went through her first real big string of scandals when she found herself as the subject in an episode of Content Cop, a series by YouTuber IDubbbz, who was infamous for calling out other creators that would oftentimes end up being canceled following whatever episode he made about them. This Tana Mongeau installment of Content Cop came out during a time when Tana was already under scrutiny or under probation almost from her audience for having old tweets and old content resurface where she said racist things and used slurs, which she had apologized for and deleted by this time. And this was at the height of storytime YouTube, and this was kind of before I consumed a lot of drama content. So I just watched all of this happen in real time, and I'm telling you, my jaw was on the floor when all of this was happening, and it was kind of like a drama that you had to follow in real time and not just watch a recap of days later. And you just really had to be there to feel the full effect, but I will do my best to talk about it in a somewhat quick and efficient way to catch us all up to today so we can talk about Tana's recent response to everything. So timeline-wise, in 2015, Tana had her old tweets resurface. She apologized, explained why she used those words and why she was wrong to use them, and then deleted the content. In late 2016, Tana actually then called out IDubbbz on Twitter for his frequent use of the N-word on his large platform and used the public tweet to tell him to off himself before promptly deleting the tweet. About a month or so later, Tana had a meet and greet that had something happen to inspire one of Tana's infamous storytime videos. During the meet and greet event, there was a fan who made her very uncomfortable, said the N-word instead of cheese for their photograph before this fan was escorted out. After this happened, Tana tweeted about this, stating that this occurrence had her in tears and literally terrified for her life. Eventually, Tana posted a video retelling of what happened in a video titled The N-Word. In the video, she had on no makeup and she wasn't even going to film the video because she just can't shake what happened and just needed to sit down and talk about it right now. She said that she knows the person who did this to her only did it so she would make a story time about the interaction, but she just needed to talk about the situation and get advice. She said during the meet and greet, a fan put his arm around her very tightly around her neck in a way where she couldn't have gotten away too easily if she had tried, and then brought up Christina Grimmie when she was talking about her lack of safety measures at the meet and greet. Tana said that the fan said the N-word loudly, yelling, with his arm locked around her, which made her afraid for her life and for other people's lives. And afterward, he would not let her go when she tried to walk away, so much so that she had to pull away twice to break the grasp before she was able to walk away and storm off, and then the fan was escorted out. And then we get to see what really happened. And how do we get to see what really happened? Because that fan, unknown to Tana at the time, was actually IDubbbz, who had recorded the whole interaction for his Content Cop series. Following Tana's video where she told the story of her recounting of the event, IDubbbz uploaded his video about her which included real footage of the situation she talked about in her video. IDubbbz explained that the reason this video came to be was because of that very first tweet that she tweeted him where she told him to off himself because of his use of the slur, and then presented all the ways Tana used the same slur in a way that was, quote, more harmful, according to his stance on the use of the word, and called her out for trying to plead ignorance in her apology. He said that because of this, he wanted to, quote, take it to her front door and see how she would react if he said it. When IDubbbz played the actual footage, it was clear that Tana did embellish how physical the situation actually was.
He walks up to me, he kind of like locks his arm around me, like around my neck like this. And it wasn't like it was like a chokehold or anything. It was very like firm and like tight, like I couldn't have really gotten out, if that makes sense. I'll explain that in a second. And so the guy looks at me and he wraps his arm around me and he looks in the camera and he goes, say, and he puts his thumbs up and then like blank and he says the N-word, like hard R. N-word, like say N-word, like hard R, and then like looks at me and looks into the camera, like say. Please imagine like say blank, like yelling, thumbs up, arm locked around me. So then I kind of try to like break free, you know what I mean, like get his arm away from me, and so like the first time I tried to, like he didn't like let go, and that's where my brain instinct is like, okay, does he have a gun, does he have a knife, like whatever. This was very quick, it wasn't like he held me for much longer, and then I pull away harder and finally pull away. That's where my brain is like, do I run, do I scream, do I cry, do I hide, do I cuss him out, do I ask him what's wrong? Like I don't know what to do, you know.
Tana basically got canceled because of all of this, and this kind of turned into her brand of always being canceled that we know of today. And Tana always rose up again, and she's super successful and literally like runs in the same circles as A-list celebrities right now. So that was all just an event that kind of seemed to live in the memories of people who consumed all of this back in like 2016, 2017. So basically that was kind of the background recapped, like really quickly summarized. This year, 6 years after all of that happened, IDubbbz posted a video that had a lot of people in the drama and commentary community talking. IDubbbz started out the video by saying that if he has the balls to show up to a Tana Mongeau meet and greet and say slurs, he should have the balls to make an apology video and take accountability for the mistakes he's made. He said that he has profited from and made a career from his bigoted content and that he needs to apologize for that. IDubbbz goes into particularly apologizing to Tana. He says, quote, I harassed Tana in person and harassed her online, and then he apologized to Black people and minorities who were affected by his past motto of, quote, all slurs are okay or none of them are, saying that now he sees that that mentality is stupid. A few weeks have passed since IDubbbz posted his apology video, but Tana just responded this weekend on an episode of her podcast titled Tana responds to IDubbbz apology. So at the end of this podcast episode, Tana talks about how she found out about all of this. She said that she woke up one day to her social media being flooded by news and media mentioning her and adding her and being in her DMs. And that's when she saw the headline, IDubbbz apologized to Tana Mongeau. Tana said that she was really shocked to see this because she had never expected that would ever happen. She says that actually recently she was having a conversation with somebody about how viral it would be to have a conversation with IDubbbz on her podcast to discuss everything between them. But again, reiterated that that would never happen and that IDubbbz would never want to come on, especially because they have never even spoken to each other. Tana says that she watched the apology video and she says she doesn't know how to feel about it. She goes on to say that she kind of feels like she deserved what happened to her with the video and the consequences following the video, and she doesn't feel like she's owed an apology. She explains that she had accepted it so much and wouldn't undo it if she could because it actually kind of humbled her and made her self-reflect in a phase of her life where she was on her high horse and starting to become too egotistical. She said that it shaped the course of her life and nothing she has now would be if none of that happened to put her on her current path, basically. She talks about how at the time she was crying about how could all of this be happening to her and all of that, and today she says she should have expected it a little bit more because she actually started everything by poking the bear. Tana then says that since IDubbbz' apology, her and IDubbbz have been messaging each other and that he might soon be a guest on their podcast actually to talk about the situation at length, even though it happened so long ago and they've both moved on from it. But then Tana also says that reigniting everything feels a little bit pointless. So I don't know if she actually plans on having him on or not. So I guess we just have to see what happens. So do you think that she's actually going to get IDubbbz on her podcast? Or is this just another thing that's never going to be followed through with? Let me know what you think. And I hate outros, so okay, bye.